Hey you guys, today we're going to be talking about the Starlight Keyblade transformation again, but this time I have a special guest with me. Damo is a YouTuber that makes content on the Union Cross mobile game, which ranges from in-depth story breakdowns to free-to-play guides for the various events and challenges in the game.
Hey guys, how you going? Yeah, like Bio-Roxas said, I just make little guides for Union Cross, and I've recently been trying to get into the story, but yeah, he invited me on to talk about the Keyblade transformations, which obviously he makes the awesome guides for, so I thought I'd give my 2 cents, so...
So I'll give a quick refresh on what my idea was, and then Damo will give his idea about what he thinks the Starlight Keyblade transformation will be, and then we'll discuss the ideas we shared. So I believe this will be a magic form transformation. I think it'd be cool to have dual chakrams in the shape of the star at the end of the Keyblade. Magic could bathe the chakrams in whatever is cast. For example, fire could have flames around the chakram and deal fire damage that could inflict burn on the enemy. Ice could have ice in the chakrams, and so on. The second level of the transformation could have Sora melding the 2 chakrams into one giant chakram. Instead of throwing, maybe this could bash the enemies, much like the magic launcher bazooka. The finish command could have Sora throwing the giant chakram that would spin around and damage anything that it hits. The other idea I have is that Sora could level up the Starlight Keyblade as the transformations. The base level would be the normal Starlight Keyblade. The first level of the transformation would change the Keyblade to the golden version of this Keyblade, and the second level would upgrade the Keyblade to its highest level. The last thing I have about this Keyblade is that maybe the Keyblade leveling will make the Starlight Keyblade change when you hit a certain level, and I think that would be a nice little nod to the Union Cross leveling system. But anyways, I'll throw it over to you, Damo.
I feel like if it was going to be any sort of transformation, it would incorporate, I guess, Lux in a way. Obviously, Lux is a huge part of Union Cross, and the gathering of that, and basically, I don't know, it's hard to describe, because there's nothing really about Union Cross that is inherently unique, if that makes sense. Like, you can fire off like a supernova, and you can fire off all kinds of like basically borrowed attacks throughout the series, but I do sort of wonder if it is going to end up being a reskin of like the Kingdom Key, where it doesn't really have a unique transformation like that, unless like
throws you into like an 8-bit like Union Cross form.
yeah, exactly right. Like instead of the Kingdom Key going into like second form, it's like a version similar to second form, but
it can be Union form.
You get to use like Union Cross related attacks rather than like KH2 related attacks.
Yeah, or you could like build up Lux to a certain level to
sure.
I don't know what you would do with it because you don't really do anything with it in the game, but
I think you give it to evil people without realizing it. But with do you know anything about Rage Form?
Yes, I do.
Isn't like this? Okay.
Have you seen the new trailers?
Just the latest one that ends with
that shows Rage Form.
Yeah,
that's awesome. So cool. That's all I've seen of it, but it looks so cool. Especially that we have a Keyblade. Just shows that like he's this isn't like a random like darkness taking over, right? Like we see him during the animation diving down and then coming up as this Rage Form, right? And so like him not losing his Keyblade and him like seemingly willingly diving into this darkness to become this form makes me think that he's like starting to gain control of his darkness.
It's interesting, isn't it? Yeah, like, I mean, this is Sora, you know, little light boy, and he's like, yeah, willingly diving in and being like, I've got dark powers now. It's like,
yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, it's so weird, but yeah, I think it fits because like at the end of Kingdom Hearts 2, we learn like, oh, like darkness isn't really evil; it's what's inside the darkness, and so
sure,
Riku and Sora, like this new generation. That's like, oh, you can walk between, like you don't have to be completely on the light side like Ericus was, or completely on the dark side like Xehanort seemingly is. So it'll be interesting to see like future games where like Sora and Riku might be the Keyblade masters, like teaching the new generation.
Oh man.
So like they're teaching everyone, oh, like you can be between, and then the new generation is like, oh no, you can only be on one side, right? So it'll just like keep flip-flopping.
I've always just sort of wondered like how much darkness Sora actually has, you know what I mean? Like when he was turned into a Heartless, all he created was this little puny little shadow. Because that's, you know, I always interpreted that as, you know, that's all the darkness he has inside him, basically enough to make a shadow like.
Yeah, well in the first game, in the tutorial, we see his Heartless like huge, right? And in that like
huge dark, yeah.
And then yeah, we see his actual darkness is like the shadow. And then in Kingdom Hearts 2, his actual darkness is like his height, right? Like it's grown. And then recoded, we see again like the darkness that was Sora's grew to like the huge Heartless it was at the end.
Yeah, it was sort of like absorbing all the Heartless that had been killed throughout our recoded. And then you sort of like paralyze it with a laser, and out pops a little shadow. Yeah. And you kill that, and then you win.
So it's just all these hints that like, because we saw it way back in the first game, and like if it was only there that we saw foreshadowing of like, oh, like this is Sora's Heartless, but it gets like retold again and recoded. So it's like, oh, maybe this does have some kind of story meaning.
Yeah, sorry, the reason I was bringing that up is like I was wondering if we knew anything about Rage Form in terms of like does it get any particular like unique transformations to itself, or because he dived in with the Big Hero 6 Keyblade, right?
Yeah. Right,
so that isn't.
But there was no. Yeah, he didn't transform the Keyblade, I don't think. So.
Exactly, yeah.
So yeah, it's probably just a form.
Kind of excited for that. I have to imagine there's gonna be like a Final Form-esque.
Oh, there has to be.
Form.
Yeah.
Right, like which would bring the total up to what, 6?
Yes, we have the 3 attributes, and then we have Guardian. That's 4, and then second, and then yeah, that'd be 6.
I just wonder if that like if there's some sort of representation there of like each of his fellow Guardians of Light effectively is represented by a form in that regard.
Oh, interesting. I didn't think about that.
Like, because the dry forms have always typically absorbed the power of a friend to use them, if that makes sense. Like,
yeah.
And now that I don't know, I sort of wonder like, or if there would be like then a 7th form, which is these I don't know, this amazing ultimate one.
Yeah, I made a theory a while ago about an Ultima form coming from the Ultima weapon. I could fit, yeah.
So I've got to imagine there's going to be like some endgame Keyblades, like you beat various, I don't know, whatever secret boss exists in the game and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't been spoiled yet, but I assume maybe that might give you an exclusive Keyblade, and that, like Ultima, would take you into this final, quote-unquote, final form. I don't know.
That'd be cool. Yeah, I'm interested to see what kind of, I'm interested to see if, like, secret bosses will give a new transformation or a new form, or if it'll just like kind of copy and paste and just have like some special ability associated with the Keyblade.
With I was meaning to ask you this actually. With Nano Arms, do you think there's a chance that, like you said, okay, you've seen it basically picks different pieces of the different transforms. I was wondering if you could like maybe set what you wanted to do. Like, okay, you go into Nano Arms and you can quote unquote program your little bits and pieces.
Yeah, to operate. I've seen that going around. So it like I've seen 2 theories. So one of them is, yeah, you can go in and kind of choose what Keyblades you're gonna put into the Nano Arms Keyblade, or the other 2 Keyblades that you have equipped will become like the basis for that.
Yeah, I wonder.
But yeah, either way, like I think that'd be awesome.
Yeah, it'd be interesting, like, because that would sort of, I think that'd be a nice little go-between of like, okay, if you really like these 2 transforms. You can basically program your Nano Arms into doing that. And like you said, whether it's by bringing in the 2 other Keyblades to do that, it's like, okay, whatever you put in slot 2 will be the first transform, whatever you put in slot 3 will be the second transform. Or something like that.
Yeah. Someone, I think, also mentioned, like, if you can level up Keyblades, well, like, we know we can't level up Keyblades, but maybe, like, an ability for that one is you can add slots. So maybe when you first get it, it's just, like, 1 or 2 slots that you switch between. But then, like, by the time you get to whatever certain level, you have, like, 4 or 5 slots. But
that'd be amazing.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I love, like, the whole system is just, like, so unique and changes so much for the, like, gameplay. Because, like, all the different transformations of forms act so differently. Like, they change, like, your dashing, they change your attacks, they change just, everything. It's so cool. So, like, they can essentially do whatever they want to in, like, future games, because you can change to whatever weapon you can think of.
Yeah, it's funny to see how far they've come from, like, Birth by Sleep, for example, where even when you transformed, it was more or less the same transform, except for Ghost Drive, I guess, because Ghost Drive would change your dodge. And I might be forgetting you know. And Sky Climber. Yeah. I think Sky Climber, you didn't have a dodge either. You sort of had this, like, sort of aerial dash. You were, like, both of those forms, you were really, really vulnerable because, obviously Birth by Sleep is like spam dodge roll, the game, the movie. But if you went into those forms, and it would sort of be an effort. Like Ghost Drive is pretty easy to get into because I think it was triggered by mines, I think. But whenever you did a cart, because Terra couldn't do it, but the two cartwheeling ones could, or dodge roll and cartwheel, you would lose your invincibility frames.
Okay.
At least on the tail end, like it would have a lot of cooldown, and the tail end would like not have any invincibility. So I was always like shit if I go into that form. Especially during like, I don't know, mysterious figure fight when I was a bit younger, I definitely had a hard time with that fight. And like even Kingdom Hearts 3D, you'd sort of like absorb your Dream Eaters and then you go into this alternate form as well. And I guess now it's all fully realized in Kingdom Hearts 3D. And I just got my fingers crossed till it's like, I just hope this all works out, you know? Like,
no,
it's fun.
Yeah, good.
Oh, you tell me, because I mean, you played it. Like, how does it feel?
It feels.
You get your hands.
It feels really good, in my opinion. And this was like a really old build too, but like, I never felt like I was like just stuck in the air, like with nothing to do. Like you could dodge out of the way, you could attack, you could like aerial dodge up, you could block. Like there was just so much you could do. So it just felt like everything you could do on the ground has now moved to the air. Like there's a little bit of like, you can't just infinitely dodge, but is that like a bad thing? I feel like we're so reliant on like being able to dodge infinitely and being able to do these things on the ground that we can't do in the air. But I don't know, I feel like it's more balanced, I guess is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, that sounds like good. I mean, yeah, in theory, they've had enough time to work on this. They've heard enough community feedback of like, listen, Birth by Sleep, you know, good elements for sure. A lot of elements that we wish we could change, and I don't know, just like 0.2 just had me a little bit worried. It's like there are still a lot of moments, especially when you're versing multiple enemies, where it's like you just can't safely pull off attacks on harder difficulties. Like you just get punished way too quickly.
No, it's crazy.
And it just becomes like dodge while your MP recharges, and you just sort of fire off like a safe fire target from a distance. And it's like, that's not fun, man.
Yeah, and you got sniped all the time in that game. I just remember always just like getting hit in the back while I was trying to run away.
Yeah. Just everything had such like you'd be up in the air and you do like your barrier, whatever, and it should just be like sitting there still in midair, while the barriers disappeared, and now you're just so vulnerable, and then you just like slowly decelerate as you know gravity takes hold, and it's like I am so vulnerable right now, and then you immediately get like obliterated by one of those little fiery heartless charges at you from literally across the map. It's
I hate those.
I hate this.
Yeah, those are the
I want to have tools to deal with them. Like I want to see that guy coming and be able to like either pull off a nice block, which I can then counter out of quickly. But even counter with Aqua, you're like boom, and you do your count, and you're sitting there with your keyblade stuck up in the air for 5 minutes, and it's like, come on, let me move. That's what I love about. I mean, everyone praises 2FM to death, right? But
it's great.
You do a block in that, and then immediately you can dodge roll, or immediately you can like slide off to your left, or you can like respond with like 1 or 2 quick hits, and it's not like yeah, and it's like, oh, come on, Aqua, let's go. We got places to be, man.
In Kingdom Hearts 3, it seems like you have what Kingdom Hearts 2 had, which was like at the end of those finishers that were like kind of left you in a bad position, you were pushing enemies back, or you were stunning them. So like explosion, like you're hitting enemies back so that you have a long animation at the end to kind of like get back control of the character, but you were pushing them back, so it wasn't like, oh no, I need to like get control really fast. So a couple of the finishers for Kingdom Hearts 3 like was the same way, where like you did an attack and it pushed enemies back so that you could get back control.
It all sounds good in theory. It all sounds really good in theory.
Yeah, exactly. I look at things like very positively, so like I never really had a problem with other combat, and like 0.2, like I had a problem with it, but it wasn't like, oh, it was awful for me. I just like thought I sucked. So like, so I don't think I don't know, I feel like maybe I put too good of a spin on mechanics.
No, I think it's healthy to have positivity towards it for sure. Like, I think I'm only speaking out of nervousness of like, boy, I really want this thing to be amazing. Boy, I really, really, really want this thing to be good. Like, because again, I'm gonna keep joking it off, but that first time I still remember the first time when I unlocked aerial dodge and I unlocked glide at the same time. I was like, hang on a minute. It's already unlocked quick run. Went to like the world that never was, and you know that last map of the Dark City before the bridge that goes into the actual castle?
Yeah.
And there's a Moogle shop right there, and if you turn it around, there's like a little hill that goes downwards back towards the city, back towards the memory skyscraper.
Yeah.
Like, okay. So like a quick ran off that, and now I'm in the air, did a dodge, and then started gliding, and I was like, in about 0.5 seconds, I'm at maximum speed, and I was like, this game is the best. This game is so fun to move around with, and you're so agile. Like it's like you'll take a big hit for sure. Like if you're not careful, you'll definitely get smacked around a bit. But I feel like people can like really show off how skilled they are in that game, and I hope the same for Kingdom Hearts 3. I really, really hope that comes out, and I'm sure that will be. Like people do amazing fights against, you know, like Phantom Aqua, for example. There's like videos of people that do it without taking a hit, and it's like, man, it looks cool.
Yeah. In Kingdom Hearts 2, you had so many different options. So like, you had such a wide variety of attacks, it felt like, and so a lot of people have kind of whittled away the abilities they don't like what is it called, like dodge slash. Like, not a lot of people use that ability.
Yeah.
And so they've kind of pick and choose which abilities help them would optimize, because they have that selection to choose from. And so I think it's going to be pretty similar in Kingdom Hearts 3, where there might be abilities or combat options that are not the best and are like more flashy than actually optimal, but we'll be able to choose to use the more optimal attacks.
Yeah, sure. Hopefully, yeah. No, it all sounds good. It all sounds really good.
Anyways, that is all I have for you guys today. Go check out Damo's channel. He's branching out to more, I think, a story-based channel, which I think is pretty cool. Do you want to talk about that real quick, or?
Oh, yeah. I had a really, really positive response to talking about the story of Union Cross, and I was like, that's the sort of thing I wanted to do personally anyway. Like, I wanted to know the story before I got the Kingdom Hearts story, and I do that with movies and TV anyway. Like, I won't watch the new one in a series without trying to play the old one, or at least know the story of the old one first. So I thought, well, and I'm doing it anyway, I'll make a video.
Anyways, if you want to see my other form analyses, click the card on screen. You can follow me on Twitter or Discord by following the links in the description below. If you haven't already, why not consider subscribing or sharing this with someone you think will like it, and I'll see you in the next video.